And we're back with another riveting episode of the Ben and Emil Show. We have got a jam-packed, really good, veritable banger of an episode. Every week's a banger, but this one in particular...
This one bangs so much harder than the other bangers.
This one bangs so much harder. We're going to be talking all about how it's very possible that Tesla is the next Enron. We're going to be speculating. We've got a whole bunch of stuff on that.
You know we're talking about that pay package.
We're talking about big red flags. We're talking about Elon himself. Plus, after that, we've got some market updates.
Some absolute legends at Wells Fargo.
We've got a new right-wing influencer that just dropped, and a funny Flat Stanley thing. What would you call that? Anecdote, little thing. And before,
yeah, that's what I'd call it.
Yeah. Listen, I just want to say something.
Don't point at them.
Everybody, no, I'm pointing at them. Everybody last week gave me crap for using the term scare quotes. I know that they're air quotes. I got it mixed up with the actual phrase scare quotes.
It's real.
It's real. Thank you very much. But it's not these. These are air quotes. I know that. Scare quotes are when you put something in quotes that don't necessarily belong. Like if you were to be a Republican and put global warming, that would be scare quotes.
Right.
And it just popped into my head. So I apologize. Anyway, now that we got that awkwardness
that really
out of the
got
way.
To you.
Yeah, it really got to me. Speaking of comments, we've got a couple of the comments of the week. This first one comes from Dalton, who's on our website. Can't wait till Ben does crack, then tries to convince everybody it's not that bad for you.
I will say, you guys have all seen Hunter Biden.
He looks good.
The man looks good.
I mean,
and he was smoking crack every day for...
Look at the Red Hot Chili Peppers, man. Those guys were railing heroin, and they're
Maybe we need to rethink everything we know about drug use.
Yeah, and then I just have to do this one because this is from Tom's Diner's Neck Veins, who commented, "Shit on my thing."
That was the comment of the week for you.
That's the comment.
Shit on my thing.
I was
no,
looking.
See, this
do you not know what that was?
No.
You said there's shit on my thing, and I did a punch. I said shit.
Oh yeah,
on
yeah.
my thing, yeah. So I just put the emphasis on shit on my thing.
That kind of doesn't quite change.
That one gets disqualified.
But I read it last night, and I just was I was laughing on my couch.
You also don't want
on my thing.
You also don't want to encourage
people commenting things like that.
Yeah.
Scat use.
Yeah,
scat use.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of people were really enthralled by the Trader Joe's talk.
Yeah, really were. I went there yesterday to pick up some stone fruits because I needed some.
Also, some people have asked for me to... We'll do a whole thing on it or something, but did you see the one who... I think it was on the site where they're very confounded by the fact that I don't eat frozen food.
Yeah, that's not surprising in the least. Of course you don't.
Yeah.
I actually have a funny Trader Joe's story.
Dude, you're pointing at everyone today.
I'm pointing.
This is crazy.
I was at Trader Joe's yesterday. The horniest Trader Joe's in all of Los Angeles.
Which one? Silver Lake.
Silver Lake.
Yeah.
And it was like 4:30.
Everyone fucking in that lot.
It's packed there. And I like to get in and out. I got my bananas. I got some...
Yeah, I bet you do like to get in and out there.
Shut up. Tuna salad. Got my plantain chips. Both flavors, the regular and the jerk style. And I got some nectarine.
I bet you are getting jerked.
Yeah, can you... So I'm at the checkout, and the guy's loading up my bag, and one nectarine falls on the ground.
Oh, it's stone fruit season.
Just as these two young women are walking past, because they've already paid, so they're walking past, and me and the checkout guy go, "Oh no!" The girls don't see it. One of them kicks my nectarine under the water display right there, and the girl's going, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry!" And I didn't care. I just said, "It's totally fine. Don't worry about it." The guy, the checkout guy says, "Yeah, don't worry about it." "Oh, I'm so sorry." No, don't worry about it. So I ran and got another one. But then I went into my truck and
there was the nectarine.
No. I roll down my window because it's so hot and I start pulling out. And as I don't know how I
bet you did pull out.
Golly, dude. I'm pulling away. I don't know how I beat them because they were just maybe they went back in to get something else, but they're walking past me and I'm in my car and they're right there. And I wanted to say, fuck you, nectarine kicker.
God.
Dude,
oh my God.
It's just like
as a joke.
Yeah, no, we got it. We always get it.
But
we always get it.
But then I stumbled over my words, so I rolled down my window, and they probably didn't recognize me because now I had on sunglasses, and I did it real serious, and I rolled down the window, and I went, nectarine kicker, and it was really.
Oh, it sounds like a slur.
It felt like a slur coming out.
Oh, this whole place is full of nectarine kickers.
And she just gave me this like, I thought she was gonna laugh and be like, but she went, yeah, sorry about that.
Jesus.
Well, no, now I'm mad at her.
I didn't care. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
No, I think
Clearly,
that,
like,
I think that's the right move.
No, the right move would have been to shut the fuck up and just drive my car.
No,
and
the
get
right
out of
move
there.
on her part, just being like, sorry about that.
Yeah.
To the weirdest
I'm
guy.
No,
Clearly joking.
I would have been like, you got any more? And then I would have hopped in the bed of your truck, started kicking the rest
That's
of your
funny.
groceries.
Yeah. Fuck. Well, anyway, beyond that, hey, we got a fun announcement, gang.
Oh,
we
yeah.
have
This
some
is
new,
a long time coming.
We have new
We're
shirts.
going to be rolling out some merch this summer. These are the first batch.
For the audio listener, God. Oh, wow, there's something on the back. Well, you'll have to see it on the website. The Ben and Emil Show.
I like how Ben has no idea what's ever going on.
No, I know what's going on. I know. Yeah. Should I have worn this?
It's
Probably.
You put it on now.
Well, you'll get a better look
Everybody
at it.
put them on.
No,
Also-
'cause then I'm gonna be.
Also, if you are if you're an audio listener and we wish you could see it, you can see it. Head over to benandemilshow.com and you'll be able to get a close look at them. One of them is going to be in 3 different colors. Pick your poison.
Wow. Yeah, it's gonna be 3 different shades of black,
Yeah,
dark.
but you'll really be able to tell.
Yeah.
And you'll be pissed. You'll be like, should I went with the lighter black?
Yeah. Well, it's summertime. We need the heat absorbing clothes. Also, we got the Q&A next week for the $10 tier subscribers on benandemilshow.com. Go to the Discord to ask your questions, and Emil doesn't want to do this, but I want to do it to make it easier to have you guys give us your phone number and then we'll call you, but it doesn't need to be that way.
Why
So,
even? Why even?
I don't know. I'm just bringing it because maybe people will be like, yeah, that's easier.
It's funny.
So
though,
you're trying to
too.
play
Yeah.
you're trying to play them against me.
No, I'm not trying to play them against you because I think you're right.
I don't understand how it's easier if they just.
Because sometimes people don't know how to.
We don't
I
have to
know.
argue
Yeah,
in
you're
front
right.
of them.
So
He texted me in private. He said we're trying to play them again.
just go
It's
go
very
to the
clear that's
go to
what's
the
happening.
Discord. Also, just real fast before we get into our lead story, real bad news, everybody. Zyn sales have been suspended on Zyn.com, I guess.
Due to the investigation.
There's a pending subpoena in
Doo-doo investigation?
in Washington D.C. No, there's no doo-doo investigation. But what's the other? Didn't something else just happen like today? That maybe that's it. Yeah, that must be it.
Ben, I don't even know what you're talking about. Did
Pinching
something else just happen today? A lot of things happened today.
Yeah. Oh, the Boeing CEO Dave Calhoun is he got hauled in front of a subcommittee to get his hiney spanked, and he turned and addressed the victim. There were some 737 victim families behind him, and he started psychopathically just empty, saying like, "I'm very sorry for our planes crashing and your friends and family or whatever dying." And someone actually yelled out, "You should be in jail." Pretty good.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah. And the senators were giving him the what for, which I really appreciate.
I'm walking downtown with Benny on me. Tell me what's going on. Tell me what's going on. So listen up to Benny on me. Tell me what's going on. Tell me what's going on.
Okay. We're not
got-
going to shift gears because in a Tesla there's no like drivetrain. Well, there is, but there's no gearbox.
There's no transmission. It's just it's just all pedals that
It's just
stick
pure,
to
it's pure
stick to the
torque.
floor, and just. Speaking of, did you see the guy who he has a conspiracy theory that Tesla is like doing a big cover up for all these mishaps? He like posted the thing about how a Tesla drove through his house.
Yes, and within 15 minutes it was cleared
and he's
out.
taking pictures, and all of a sudden the tow truck shows up, and he's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Like the cops are on their way. What are you doing?" And he's like, "Fuck you! Get out of the way. We're taking this."
Yeah. I don't know. I believe everything that I see on the internet, but that one I
Oh.
was kind of skeptical about. But there's photos and videos of it.
I know, and he's got
Yeah.
timestamps.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, as Emil just described it, I think it's here in LA.
Yeah, it looked like palms. I think it was.
Yeah, there was a guy who had a Tesla just barrel into his house, into his living room, and within before the cops even arrived, a tow truck came and took it away.
Yeah,
which is
it was like-
absolutely bananas. There's a lot of conspiracy theories. There's the entire. So when a company goes bankrupt, you typically put a Q at the end of the ticker symbol can change, but sometimes it's just you slap a Q on the end of it. And the entire world of Tesla perma bears who believe that Tesla is just a house of cards refer to it as TSLAQ.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of a
Different kind of Q boys.
different kind of Q boys. But so last week, Elon's stock package was approved, and it's a little complicated because it was
Well, it wasn't necessarily approved. It was voted on again.
it was voted
And,
on. Right?
I mean, this has been going on forever. They proposed this stock package, and it's so funny because they talk about how they needed this to keep his attention, and without Elon's attention, everything would fall apart. But basically, in 2017, they put together this controversial stock package of what would be worth $56 billion in options for
Yeah.
Elon Musk.
If certain criteria were met.
Right, and it's a big risk, right?
Performance criteria.
This whole time he's not taking salary, he's not getting paid, and so it's a big gamble. And he had to hit all of these milestones in order to get this huge package. It was controversial at the time when they put out the package. People were going like, "Don't vote for this. This is fucking psycho."
Well, and also it seemed truly impossible. It was like, I think part of it was like the stock has to 10x or something like that.
yeah, which it did. I mean, at the time this
Yeah.
was all put together, I think the market cap was like 60 billion. Now it's close to 600 at this point.
It's now, I think, 700. Yeah. Or no, you're right. Yeah. Sorry. Go
I
ahead.
think it's just about 600. And so, yeah, it's approved it's put to a vote 2018, gets 73% of the vote to approve it. And then he gets sued and they try to fight off the suit. And
The one in Delaware?
yeah,
Yeah. So they were incorporated in Delaware, and there was a judge in January who threw out this compensation package saying that it was, quote, deeply flawed and didn't pass the burden of fairness. And so
that's because they're saying,
that's way too much compensation to give.
no, they're saying it because, this is all approved by the board of directors and stuff. And the directors are supposed to be independent entities.
Right.
And the whole thing here is that the entire board is made up of, and usually the norm is that you're not using family members, you're not using employees, you're not using people who have close personal relationships with you. And that's what his entire
What did
board.
you say? Close personal?
Yeah, I did. I fucked that up.
Yeah, that's okay. That's one.
And fuck. Don't count that one. But you got Kimball Musk, you got Larry Ellison, all these people who are deeply invested in his things. And then, I mean, the weirdest part is they have all these stories about him doing drugs with all these people and
Oh, yeah.
just like ripping ketamine. And so it's quite an unusual.
Well, there's anecdotes that are peppered in there. Like, Jesus, I can't remember. I think it might be Kimball, but someone's biography has a story. Someone very close to Elon. There's a story about him joining a poker game, like either in college or just after the PayPal stuff. He admittedly didn't know anything about poker, sits down and just kept going all in on hands and just kept losing. But then he just kept doing it until he finally made all his money back, and then he stepped away. And I feel like that's a good anecdote for who he is at his core. Just like risk, don't care, don't know enough.
Who, Kimball or Elon?
Elon.
Okay.
Um,
Hey, everybody.
Hey, gang.
We're doing a quick break for one of our ads today. We got cuts. All right, listen up. This one's for anyone who's trying to up their summer wardrobe. All right. You've already seen it, actually. Ben wore his beautiful black polo last week.
did you guys see that? Did you notice?
And we know you saw it because we saw a bunch of comments being like, my God, my guy looks fly as hell.
And you know why I wore it? Because it genuinely was a great shirt.
Yeah.
And it made me feel... First of all, the fabric feels really good. The cut itself was very flattering. And yeah, I just was like, I need to wear a shirt, and I've got this shirt from Cuts.
And I got a black tee and some pants at home that are gorgeous. I
They're
love
really
them.
good.
Yeah.
So, yeah. not only has Cuts completely changed the t-shirt game, but like you said, they've got other simple yet sophisticated items. They've got bottoms that are stretched to fit joggers, look way better than your khakis, and they're 1,000 times more comfortable. All their clothing is comfortable as athleisure, but fashionable enough to wear to work or backyard barbecues. I mean, look at me. I looked refined yet sophisticated.
Couldn't you see that man at a barbecue?
Yeah.
So here's what we got. Ditch your old, sweaty, dingy t-shirts and enjoy Cuts premium fabrics. When you touch something from Cuts, you can immediately feel the quality. Their proprietary fabric blends are ridiculously soft and breathable. They don't wrinkle, and they look way more expensive than they actually
Truly,
are.
I mean, wearing that black shirt, it's hot here in Southern California, and it's sunny, and normally I'd be like dreading wearing black, but it really, my dude, those things breathe.
You looked cool as hell
I
in
look
more
cool,
ways than
too.
one.
Golly. And the best part, Cuts clothing is built to last. Their durable construction means you'll be enjoying your favorite shirts and pants for years to come, making them a smart investment for your wardrobe.
So, embrace the summer state of mind with Cuts. For a limited time, our listeners get 20% off your entire order when you use code BAES, B-A-E-S, at checkout. That's 20% off your order. CutsClothing.com with promo code BAES. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Experience the perfect blend of style and comfort with Cuts Clothing.
Get Cuts.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a ton of stories. Like, I forget which one it was. There's one of the guys who's a board member who's a VC, like, ended up buying the rights to the first Model 3 when it was being released and then gifted it to Elon.
There's a lot of self-sucking and shit involved.
Guys who are doing nefarious things and Elon helping them keep it all hush-hush. And so the judge was basically like, you put this to a vote and none of this was disclosed to your shareholders. They didn't get to make an informed decision on all of this because all of this was obscured from them.
Yeah.
This like weird board you guys have created here.
I mean, everything about this company is very, very,
That's
very
the thing,
obscure.
right? Everything is outside of the norm.
Just
Elon's
warranty stuff.
Elon's relationship with women, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
All of it is. I mean, and this pay package also. I feel like people don't point this out. You know, we talk about all these like pay packages that CEOs end up with. You know, when we talk about the previous Boeing CEO who gets ousted and ends up with a huge golden parachute of tens of millions of dollars. That's what it's always tens of millions of dollars. And here we're talking about tens of billions of dollars.
Yeah. That's it's far and away head
It's
and shoulders
so
above the
insane.
others. And it's different from the likes of like Mark Zuckerberg or Jeff Bezos, who I was going to say are born with it. Well, kind of, because at the inception of their companies, they've already got the bulk of these shares, and they're not awarded future, like further awarded shares. But so anyway, just because part of the reason why they moved to incorporate the company in Texas is because of the shit that went down in Delaware with this whole lawsuit. And
Delaware is woke.
Delaware is too woke. They've got pronouns on their flag and everything. They're the state's pronouns.
Which are
Fishes? I don't know. Are they known for fit?
Delaware's not known for much.
I talked shit on Delaware on Twitter once. I said it's like not a real place, and
the Biden heads
nobody's
came
from
for you.
No, actually, Aubrey Plaza fans, because she's, I guess, from Delaware.
Would have
And
been
there
cool
were
if
a
you just
handful.
stopped at Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah, no, oh yeah, no, she doesn't know I exist.
Not yet.
But so it doesn't mean that he now gets those shares. The ruling in Delaware still stands, but what the board of directors could do is issue a new compensation package, but then there would be all these weird tax implications.
Well, this is also all in hopes to speed some of this stuff up where they're obviously going to appeal it anyway, but they're also hoping that because it's not finalized yet, that they can go to the Delaware judge and be like, look, we re-voted on it. And now it's all of this stuff is out in the open. We made sure everyone knows about this stuff, and they voted for it again, 72% this time.
Yeah. So it begs the question, and we've already kind of touched on it, but why? Why does Elon Musk get this much? Well, as Emil, you already said, it's because he pretty much told the board, if you don't give this to me, I'm going to walk. There will be no reason for me to stay at Tesla. I will liquidate my shares and move on. I've got a lot of other things going, and I could pursue my products, as he says, elsewhere. And he's also clearly very influential because to hear the Tesla board chair, Robin Denholm, say it, she says, it's Elon's vision for the future that has them wanting to compensate him. And that stuck out to me. It's his vision of the future. And it just makes, why the fuck? Why are we peons constantly at the whim of these billionaires' views of what the future ought to be? We didn't vote this guy in.
Right.
But he becomes so powerful and influential and wealthy that he is essentially able to kind of dictate what our future looks like.
Oh,
I mean, to a lesser extent, look at Steve Jobs with the iPhone. Like, hey, I'm inventing this new thing and creating this fucking need for everyone that now you can't get enough of.
The innovation isn't that just the essence of capitalism?
Yes,
but not really. So we've talked about it before, where he's got this like massive influence over things, where he can kind of shape the future he wants to see. Where we've talked about how when he started talking about the Hyperloop, he was like going to cities who were talking to other companies about high-speed rail and bringing it to their cities, and he'd put in bids that were way lower than everyone else's, and be like, I'm gonna make all your dreams come true with the Hyperloop. And then where is the Hyperloop? All
Sure.
we have is the one weird Las Vegas one. I mean,
for me, it's
I
the
just drove
self-driving
from
cars.
LA to San Francisco and back this weekend, and the whole time I'm going, why am I not sitting on a high-speed rail?
Yeah.
This is fucking crazy. So he's basically sabotaging these plans.
By
he's going,
instead
yeah.
promising alternatives.
He has this huge amount of influence and being like, I can do it for cheaper. We've got all, we're the smartest people in the world. Let us handle it. We have all the science, blah, blah, blah. But doesn't get it done.
Yeah. Because I do think that there's something to be said for these people innovating. And obviously, if people didn't want things, they wouldn't be a success outright. Like if we didn't want iPhones, they would have been a major flop. But still, to that end, it's more like what you're saying, where he's not only detracting from other ways that municipalities can spend their money in smarter ways. That was a fucked up sentence, grammatically speaking. But then fuck. Now we're tied. But then it's the things that are potentially dangerous and also just a distraction and a gross misuse of resources in the self-driving cars. We'll get to that because there's a lot there. But so speaking of projections, Kathy Wood, the permabull for Tesla, just put out with ARK Invest. They just came out with their 2029. I don't know why they're stopping at 2020. Just round up to 2030. You absolute dingus.
Dude, 2029. She knows. She's talking to Jesus, man.
They laid out their bull case for Tesla, and they're now. I'm laughing because it feels funny, but I mean, she was also right once. Their bull case is $2,600 per share by 2029, or over $10 trillion in valuation, which would put Elon into trillionaire status. They say 90% of the value will be from the robotaxi business, of which they're projecting $951 billion. Again, why not just 950? Dingus. Projecting
You're the dingus. You don't know shit.
You're right. I don't know shit. Projecting $951 billion in revenue by 2029. The dedicated robotaxi is expected to be revealed this August, but they expect them to launch in the next 5 years. And even if they say that even if they don't end up launching the robotaxi business, they could launch a human-driven ride-hail service. So basically, if they don't do the robotaxi thing, they're basically going to make an Uber.
Dude, that would be
for
sick,
everybody.
though. Imagine that.
Jesus Christ. They claim that Tesla's...
That's worth paying for his attention.
What?
Him coming up with shit like that.
New Uber?
Yeah. Imagine if he went and focused on something else.
Well, obviously there's competitors out there. The likes of Waymo comes to mind, but ARK is claiming that Tesla is gathering meaningful data at 110 times the rate of Waymo and has transitioned to a neural network that learns from video data and negates, they said like 300,000 lines of code being needed. They say it's 5 times safer than a human-driven Tesla and 16 times safer than the average car, and thus should be able to demonstrate superior statistically significant safety metrics and get regulatory approval. Because the big thing right now is they're not even close to getting any kind of regulatory approval from whatever government.
You know what is hard to argue with the self-driving cars
What?
and the safety? Well, now they've got everyone so addicted to phones that I think if everyone was looking at the road, maybe humans would be a little bit more safe. But
Sure.
pretty
And
much
roads were in better condition.
I think we're all guilty of it. I mean,
Not me, man.
yeah, right.
I put my shit. I turn it off.
There were
I'm never looking at my phone when I drive, and even if I do, it's always an emergency.
Didn't you just make a TikTok while you were driving recently?
What?
You're like on the road.
No.
I was like, Ben.
What are you talking
Yeah,
about? I
that-
was going like.
well,
10
that's the
miles
other
an
thing. The amount of TikToks I see while people are driving, I'm always like, Jesus Christ, aren't they fucking supposed to be looking at the road? But I mean, I remember it used to be couple back to the road, couple back to the road. Now, I mean, I finished doing something and I'm like, what was I? I haven't looked at the road in forever.
Hey, everybody. We all know if you're a Glenn head out there. Hey,
Shout out to all the Glenn
Hey,
heads.
shout out to all the Glenn heads. We all know and love Glenn. He's the Chief Compliance Officer over at MooMoo, which gives us a little bit of unique insight into the rules and regulations around investing platforms. In other words, we trust Glenn. I would trust Glenn with my life. And I have more than once. But I've been trading options for, over 10 years. I've been trading generally for a little longer than that. And the value props that MooMoo offers that I particularly like are the $0 stock options contract fees and 50-cent fees on index options. You really can't beat that. They got all these tools. They got pretty much everything that I would need right in the palm of my hand. If you're a beginner, if you're a more seasoned trader or investor, I don't know why you'd use anything other than MooMoo.
And if you're like me and looking for something that's great for, more long-term passive investing, they got you there too. I mean, it's great for any style of investing, but 5.1% APY on uninvested cash, plus 3% for new users for 3 months. I mean, and they just have all kinds of analysis on stocks. They got a 24/7 news team, keeps investors informed with minute-by-minute updates. It's got everything I could want.
Yeah, you're not being bothered by having to pay attention to what's on those other platforms and Twitter and whatnot. So click the link in the description to jumpstart your investing journey today with up to 15 free stocks upon making a qualified deposit. And if you aren't quite ready to start investing, MooMoo is also giving new users 8.1% APY for a limited time on your uninvested cash while you plan your first trade.
Plus, if you're already a trader and want to graduate to a more sophisticated platform, transfer your portfolio to MooMoo and earn up to $300 in cash rewards.
So make sure to click the link in the description and sign up to take advantage of these awesome promos and experience a better platform with MooMoo. Yeah, that scares me too. There's moments where I'm definitely like, I'm doing something else. I'm looking at the radio or something.
Right.
I'm tinkering. I'm not looking at my phone, but there will be moments where I'm like, holy shit, or someone's slamming on their brakes. It's just not. You know what I think of every time?
No, it's the phone for me.
I think of myself in jail, and I go, it's not worth it. It is just not fucking
What
worth
about like
it.
running over a child?
That's what
Yeah,
I'm talking about.
That's
Oh,
how
like
we
hurting,
got
go to jail for that.
Hurting
That's
someone.
The bad part about that is the jail part.
Hurting
right?
someone or God forbid, like maiming someone or crashing into something. I just put it down.
I know. I
Anyway.
will, but it's impossible. It used to be I'd get a text and I'd go, I kind of want to answer this. But now I'm like driving and I'm like, who was the basis for Thin Lizzy? And then I'm like on
Wait,
their
so you're
Wikipedia
saying-
page.
You're saying that this is part of why robo-taxis will catch on because people want to be on their phones
Because
while they drive?
we are gonna reach a level where we are so
Hopelessly addicted.
yes, that our attention is just we're all just
How about a heads-up display? So it's just right there while you're driving. So you're
See, now
still
that can
human powered,
or-
but you're like, I got a text message.
I mean, I
Drive-
got Apple CarPlay. That's what it does.
Are
I
you
didn't even-
serious? It's a heads-up display.
Well, no, it's like
It's on the screen.
GPS.
Yeah,
It's on
yeah.
the screen, and I
I'm
was
talking
driving,
about
I know.
graphical interface.
Driving with
But I
a
guess
Vision
that's
Quest.
why
Yeah.
I don't do it because I was driving with our friend Steve, and he was like, "Well, that's efficient," and I was like, "What?" I didn't even notice anything was weird. I was like answering texts with my voice,
Whoa.
and yeah.
Well, not me, because I'm sticking with my 03 Tacoma. Thank you very much. I'm never getting that thing's gonna staying dumb. And so continuing here, Ark and Kathy Wood are expecting 45% per year production increases to get from 1 point, because obviously they're going to need a fuck ton of robo-taxis if they're going to realize this. But they're currently only making 1.8 million of them a year, and they're projecting them to get to 6 to 16 million a year by 2029. This is my favorite one.
Give it to me.
Optimus, the robot. So
There's going to be one in every home.
2 in every home. They're saying that Optimus will also make them a leading global manufacturer of robots, which alone could save Tesla billions in labor costs. Sure, I buy that. If they make that a reality, it will naturally save them a few billion a year. And they say that humanoid robots present a $24 trillion global revenue opportunity, or roughly 1/4 of global GDP in 2022. They then,
But isn't the last time we saw his little demonstration? It was like a guy in a black suit with like a
no, they've got the actual one, and they're showing it like doing complex looking things. But then it's because it's manually controlled by someone just off camera, which is like his whole thing. His whole shtick is this vaporware kind of
right
move.
There are 2 in every home, but a bunch of guys going to work to control all of them.
My favorite part is in the risks. That finally you go through all. They gloss over the semi truck, which everybody just kind of conveniently forgot about. They gloss over the supercharging network. They gloss over full self-driving licensing as not being that significant to their price targets. But then the risk section, because they've always got to have that. Their risks are, well, Elon might leave, or a natural disaster or pandemic would stop.
So there's only 3 things.
There's only 3 things that could stop this train from falling off the rails. So then that brings us to the shareholder meeting, which was just last week. And if you haven't seen it, here's the video of Elon coming out. He just
wait, also before we even get to this, it was very funny. So they wanted to incentivize everyone to vote for this latest pay package thing.
Mhm.
And I think it's like close to 70% of the shareholders were, or 30% of the shareholders were like individual investors, not institutional investors like Vanguard and BlackRock and all these people. Yeah. And most of the time, retail investors are not voting on stuff, right? They go, forget this, I'm not. And so you know what they did to incentivize everyone to vote?
No.
They promised to, if you vote, you get put into a raffle and you get to do your little Willy Wonka tour of the Gigafactory in Texas with Mr. Elon Musk.
That's a good incentive. They're obviously hurting for it. So yeah, they had the shareholder meeting.
You get to hang out with this righteous dude.
Yeah, here he comes. Look at this. Comes out.
Whoa.
God, he's just.
Let's go.
I just realized he's kind of like if the phrase "let's go" were a person.
Yeah.
Just.
I like that people were. So I'm sure you've seen the clip of Taylor Swift dancing that everyone's dancing on.
I don't mind that one so much.
But people are going, this is Elon Musk for white women. And so people are putting the two dances next to each other.
Well, so just
sorry to the Taylor Swift people. Don't.
No, it's okay.
Fucking freak out.
So there's a couple highlights I wanted to dovetail off of what we've already said. Here's him talking about robotaxis.
The owner of the car will far exceed the actual monthly payment. And then Tesla will obviously take a rev share on that, but most of the money will go to the owner of the car, and this is actually going to work. This is what will happen. So mark my words. This is simply a matter of time. Now, admittedly, I'm a little optimistic sometimes. So I don't have self-awareness. But if I wasn't optimistic, this wouldn't exist. This factory wouldn't exist.
What's the thing where he can't say the like? He's like optimistic.
He uses his instead of
it's like his lower lips.
Instead of making a B with his 2 lips, he uses his top teeth.
Optimistic.
So V.
Optimistic.
Yeah, it's he. I don't want to say anything mean. I just can't say anything mean right now. I'm really trying not to. But yeah, he's part of the case for the robotaxis is that not only is Tesla going to lease them outright, but people who own them are going to be able to dictate, oh, I can have it open for 3 hours this afternoon and it'll just go out on its own and make me extra money.
Come back with poop in it.
Dude, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I would not want to. Ew. Fucking disgusting. I don't trust people. It's like when Airbnb first launched and there were like meth addicts just camping out in people's homes in the Bay Area. I mean, sure, that's an outlier, but you ever been inside an Uber? They stink.
No, they don't.
They stink.
That's not true.
People are gonna be smoking weed in
People
the
are
cars
gonna be
like
smoking
crazy
weed.
in LA.
People are going to be getting sucked off.
I think, well, that's the problem is that there's no one in it anymore
Yeah.
to be like, hey, don't fucking jack off. So it's going to be a
Total
real
jack off.
den of sin in
problem.
there.
Yeah. Well, then he goes on to talk about how he thinks everyone in the world is going to want one of their robots. Literally everyone. Then there will obviously be robots in industry making stuff. He thinks the ratio of humanoid robots to humans will probably be at least 2 to 1.
You know what's going to be cool when all these guys turn on him and like rip his body limb from limb?
What? That the robots are going to do it?
No, it'll just be cool when that happens.
Oh, yeah. I just want to put into perspective all the people out there who gobble up his diarrhea, his verbal diarrhea. Because it sounds pretty promising and pretty massively possible that there's going to be a humanoid for every human on Earth. That's what, 8 billion? And then 2 to 1, that's 16 billion. Just to put that into perspective, Apple, over the life of the iPhone, has sold 2.5 billion iPhones. Everybody in the world, like so many.
Is he saying everyone in the world or everyone in the country?
Elon?
Yeah.
He's saying globally.
Globally, everyone's going to.
Well, not everybody's going to own one, but just that there's going to be that many. They would have to, I mean, think about the iPhone has been out for what, 15 years, something like that? And even throughout that entire 15 years, they've only managed to sell 2.5 billion of them. And they're only what, only $1,000 versus how much a humanoid robot's going to cost?
They've only sold 2.5 billion?
Yep.
From first generation
to this, 2.5 billion. Throughout the life of the iPhone.
I mean, I must have bought 6 or something.
Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. What a loser consumer you are.
How many have you bought?
I don't know, 6? 6 or 7.
I mean, the dang things crap out
I mean, yeah. I keep dropping mine. It must scare the hell out of my downstairs neighbor. Just thunk. Sorry, lady. And so before we get into the red flags, which is coming next, he's already gearing up for the next. If you look back on everything, he's always got something new to pump the stock up.
Yeah.
It's always been self-driving. It was the semi-truck. It was the new models. It was, God, what am I missing?
I mean, the Cybertruck.
Cybertruck is a big one.
The cheaper model. That's delayed forever.
Well, now he's just kicking the can again. He just tweeted yesterday for us, 2-3 days ago for you guys, working on the Tesla Master Plan 4. It will be epic. So that's just their latest thing where they're going to compile together their master plan, laying out the company's plans for the next 5 to 10 years. So it allows them enough space, enough room to do what they always do, which is make big promises, underdeliver, but make so many and be doing so many different things that it doesn't really matter. Oh man, hey Emil, I was just thinking about, what I actually did notice the other day?
What'd you notice?
I had all but forgotten whether or not I still pay for Hulu and Disney Plus.
I couldn't even tell you if I do.
Yeah, exactly. And I wouldn't even know, even if I were to try to find out, I wouldn't know which credit card to look up to see, like,
which account,
is it linked
which
to this?
email account did I even sign up with?
Is it, and so there's a solve for that. They figured it out. They're called Rocket Money. These good folks at Rocket Money. It's a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so that you can grow your savings.
I mean, we're not the only ones with this problem. Most Americans think they spend about $62 per month on subscriptions.
That's crazy.
But the real number, closer to $300.
Per month?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's literally thousands of dollars a year, okay? Half of which we've probably forgotten about. Thankfully, Rocket Money's here. We got your back.
Yeah, Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's features. Can you imagine what you can do with 740 extra macaroons per year? That's a lot of candy bars. I'll tell you, that's a lot of candy bars. It's a lot of candy.
So if you want to be buying more candy bars this year, stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/BAES. That's rocketmoney.com/BAES. rocketmoney.com/BAES. BAES.
And that's kind of what ultimately I'm going to get at here is that
Yeah, because you see a lot of red flags, but it doesn't matter.
There's so many red flags. I couldn't believe it as I'm doing this.
All right, so hit me with it.
Okay, here's the list of red flags. And hat tip to God, I can't remember his name, but I'll put the link to this in the description because there's like over 100 of them, and I just took my favorite ones. You got a high turnover in senior executives, including ones who were outright fired, many of whom end up just dumping their shares. Boom. Layoffs.
Boom.
Well, high turnover is in senior executive positions is not a good look.
Right.
Layoffs. They just laid off 10 to 20% of their workforce, including offers made to interns, which doesn't make sense because why would you pull offers to your cheapest new talent? If you're meant to be ramping up production, you're going to need as much talent as you can get. But that lends itself to the problem that they're stuck in where they've lowered their prices amid lowering demand, and it just kind of becomes this negative feedback loop where they're simultaneously having to like keep the margins high or keep the margins Hadn't
he just like hired a bunch of them back though? Wasn't he kind of like weirdly bluffing?
That was the supercharger team.
Yeah.
He hired some back. So they've had major price cuts over the last 18 months. It's hard to come back from that in terms of margins and brand reputation because it kind of tarnishes it, you know? A Mercedes once cost $80,000 and now it's like, hey, we'll give it to you for 40.
You're like, the fuck?
The fuck? I thought this was
a luxury brand.
Yeah.
I thought this was the car Adolf Hitler rode in.
That's right. I love the Pope Mobile.
Dude, the Pope has been on one.
Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about that in the bonus.
That guy.
We got so much going on in this bonus.
Cannot stop saying F slurs.
Yeah, he really can't.
And he thinks just because it's in Italian, we're not going to find out.
Yeah. Okay, so Tesla's also got no new innovation to spur demand with the average age of their models is 9 years old. No new models. They've only got the like S.
Well, they're working on
X, Y, and Cybertruck.
But they're also working on the cheaper version, which he had nixed, but now, I mean, you also can't keep up with this fucking guy. But the cheaper one is supposed to be back on track.
Moving on, we've got inventory is piling up in the United States, and since they don't have dealer networks to dump onto, they have to keep all of the inventory on their books. That's kind of been an old one. That's always kind of been the situation with them, though. Big one, you've got slowing demand for EVs generally, and consumers are starting to shift back toward internal combustion engines.
Or just hybrids.
Yeah, like Toyota's just made a big move working on like smaller internal combustion engines.
Which kind of makes sense. I mean, we're just like, the network is just not there. And it's, the hybrid seems to be, I wish I had a hybrid. Yeah.
Me too. Fleets have stopped buying due to strong depreciation and a lack of consumer demand. Full self-driving has been promised for over a decade at this point. Another big one, high turnover in key accounting and legal positions. The chief administrative officer left after just a month, turning down like a $10 million pay package. Big red flag. CFOs are always internal. They've got general counsels who are always leaving, people in legal positions. There have been many whistleblower complaints. They're burning through cash.
The legal makes sense when this guy, we're going to talk about the SpaceX stuff, but
oh yeah,
I would not want to be dealing with this guy's
having to
bullshit.
Defend this dipshit. Probes from the NHTSA and lawsuits regarding the full self-driving. They've got the highest accident rate from any other manufacturer at 23.54 per 1,000 drivers. Elon's got a history of aggressive retaliation against whistleblowers. Some employees are just leaving outright for quality control reasons. This guy, Ethan Heald, was a senior mechanical design engineer, left because of being, quote, uncomfortable with the condition that we were releasing the Cybertruck in. There's the immediate recall on the Cybertruck, stuck accelerator, just like underscores that. the company required employees to only communicate via voice regarding product quality issues to avoid incriminating evidence for future regulatory
That's just
investigations.
smart. That's just smart. I mean,
That
come
is
on.
really smart.
All the emails and texts when they come out every time there's a lawsuit, talk directly, face to face. We
Then
got
you've-
problems, dangerous stuff. Let's talk.
Let's just talk. Send a voice memo.
Yeah.
And don't
Or
keep
I'll
it.
text you. Hey, meet me in the hallway.
Yeah.
Let's chat.
You've got shit that's now years old, but I mean, it just speaks to his just total lack of what would you call that? Business ethics.
Oh yeah.
Bailing out his cousins with Solar City. I remember that was a big deal at the time, and it just kind of got brushed under they were swept under the rug.
Yeah.
Solar City was in trouble. He swoops in and like, hey, we're actually acquiring them, and it's going to make total sense. It's going to be synchronicity.
Synchronicity. Yeah, we're integrating Solar City into all our brands.
Yeah, and then they just like slept on that. Let's see. He says Tesla is an AI company, yet they're raising. So this is a big one. He says that Tesla is an AI company, and yet he's raising billions of dollars outside of Tesla for his X.AI thing,
XAI is gonna be huge, dude.
which is his fucking petty goal of defeat. He just cannot be beaten, and because he's so focused, singularly focused on so many individual things, including and especially now being the first to get to AGI, he's now taking on.
Well, he dropped his lawsuit against
He did.
OpenAI,
That's a big one.
so he's got to go full bore. XAI. He's got to get that AI into the little robots.
Speaking of raising billions, their capital expenditures for 2024 are huge at 8 to 10 billion compared to 2023's 8.9 billion. This, despite the heavy layoffs, 2 canceled new models, Giga Mexico being paused, the supercharger team gone. What the fuck are they spending money on?
Also, you can't.
You could be speculating he could be using resources, funneling them out to fund XAI. You don't know, because he also just took out a loan from SpaceX of $1 billion. So it's entirely possible that the guy is so clearly above the law and above any kind of ethics that I believe anything at this point, that he's capable of doing all this shit. And almost done here. Despite massive public problems, they have substantially lower warranty claim rates than other major car companies. Because, let's take that apart real fast. They've got
Just
these
like the
really high incident rates, and yet paradoxically, they've got really, really low warranty like redemption rates. And that's because they're recording warranty expenses as goodwill by deferring them and not recording them as cost of goods and services that would end up on your balance sheet, by artificially lowering warranty provisioning. And they're also blaming consumers. So on top
that's
of that,
a good move. I like that.
it's just
No text and email and blame the consumer.
it's one of so many ways that they just have these accounting tricks that they're doing, that it's just kicking the can down the road. And you remember we covered these people complaining about their service appointments getting canceled and just not rebooked. That's them. They're stalling to avoid recording those costs, because it costs a lot of fucking money to repair these cars.
Also, people just saying there's outright lies about the range claims and all of that stuff.
That too. And then you've got, on top of that, which hurts demand, because these cars are now proven to be very expensive to maintain, it means it's a higher cost of ownership. So like insurance rates for these people who are then having to repair it themselves, well, that has a reverberating effect, and it becomes known these are expensive cars to insure. Insurance rates go up. I'm less likely to buy a Tesla, not only because of the range anxiety or Elon's being a bad fucking PR nightmare for the company, you name it.
Might drive into someone's house.
But again, does it matter? I don't think it does, because it is the longest running meme story stock that we've ever seen. And while I do think that something's going to break, I think it's going to be a long time before that happens. And he's been lucky and untouchable before. And whereas Enron at its peak was valued at like $70 billion, I truly think at this point Tesla's like too big to fail.
Well, and Elon is too. I mean, people have compared him to Trump before, and it's like the same thing where you all these things that
When you're a cult of
previously
personality like that.
would be. I mean, he should be persona non grata by this point, but it just doesn't fucking matter. People are like, no, it's actually cool he did that.
Yeah, people truly don't even care. I mean, you look at some of the his biggest cheerleaders, like what's his name, Meet Kevin,
Mm-hmm.
or Ross Gerber.
Your favorite guy, Meet Kevin.
Yeah, they still are like
Ross Gerber of the baby,
the baby heir,
the baby,
Baby
Baron.
baby food baron.
Yeah.
Yeah, they still. I mean, they're not crazy about him, but they're not gonna outright fucking abandon him. They're still like, oh my god, he created the most shareholder value out of any CEO ever. I'm like, just suck my fucking dick, man. Golly. All right, let's get to the fun stuff with this fucking moron. He's getting sued by SpaceX employees.
Well, let's maybe caution the fun stuff. I wouldn't call it.
Oh yeah, it's not
This was
fun.
definitely not fun for a lot of people.
No. I mean, it's fun because it's embarrassing for him.
Sure, it's embarrassing for him, and some of his behavior is a bit
Oh yeah, I
entertaining.
believe as they call it, cringe.
Oh, cringe. I mean, it doesn't even. Yeah.
Which and all that's to say before we get into this, I've traded Tesla stock a few times, and yeah, I've made money on it, but then I've also lost money on it. So do I have my own personal kind of vendetta against it? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I would say a little bit. Especially missing the entire thing because the whole time I've been like, I don't trust this guy. I don't believe this guy. And where do I trade? I trade on MooMoo. That's my go-to app.
My favorite platform.
That's my favorite platform. They got a lot of tools that I wish I had had a long time ago. I tell you that. They got a nice little offer in the description for everybody who wants to sign up. Thing. But let's look at this thing.
So yeah, the Wall Street Journal put out a big article. Elon Musk's boundary blurring relationships with women at SpaceX. It's also fun. I mean, yeah. Again, these all seem like things that would be bombshells, and like the CEO would be like, "I'm taking a leave of absence" among people snapping pictures at him leaving. But I mean, yeah, some of the stuff had come to light a long time ago. Remember the massage on the plane?
Hey, I'll give you a horse if you massage me. Or
right,
whatever. Yeah.
but nothing ever really matters with
nothing
this guy.
I love this though. The woman in question, she visited Musk at his home multiple times as she struggled at work to establish herself, according to people familiar with the matter and friends she confided in. He would text her like a lot, said one of the friends. When she didn't respond to a nighttime invitation to come over to his house, Musk texted her name repeatedly, the friend recalled. I know that reminds me of me when I was in high school and my friend, the girl that I had a crush on, wasn't answering her phone because we were meant to like ride together after. And I didn't know then, I've told this story, I didn't know that when you get a missed call, I thought if you call 40 times, it's just missed call.
You thought it was like a landline.
Yes. And I had nothing to do, so I just kept calling. I was like, well, maybe she'll hear it. She probably can't hear it.
Jesus.
And yeah, I must have called 30 times or something.
Just
Yeah.
Melanie.
No, Shayna.
Shayna.
No, I wasn't texting. I was calling.
I know, but that's
Oh,
what
yeah.
he was doing.
This
one's
what? Go ahead, you read it.
about a half year into her job, the woman received another invitation from Musk to come to his house, according to a text exchange reviewed by the Journal. "Come by," he wrote. When she didn't respond, he peppered her with more text. "Look, it's either me or 6 a.m. exercise," smiley face. "Just finished the Model 3 production call. It's definitely going to be hell for several more months. Are you coming over? If not, I will probably trank out. Too stressed to sleep naturally." When she still hadn't responded, he wrote, "Probably best if we don't see each other."
I mean, my God, she's not responding. Just, Jesus Christ! It really is. It really is pathetic. I mean, he just wants to be. He just wants to. What do you think it is?
I mean, he's clearly just an I don't know what he's got. I think he's like a very unwell person.
Yeah.
I mean, none of this makes sense. I mean, like that. When we were reading the pay package stuff, I'm going. He can only be motivated by close to $60 billion.
Yeah. And he's the only man. He's the only person capable of leading the charge toward these outlandish aspirations.
Again, I don't. It's watching all of this stuff. I mean, people watch this guy coming out doing the goofy dance, and people are literally by the end chanting Elon, Elon. I'm going. Am I missing something?
Yeah, I think it goes back to what we had said before, kind of similar to if we had made millions of dollars in Bitcoin, we'd be singing a different tune. I think a lot of these people have made life-changing money with him and with Tesla, so it becomes a lot easier to dismiss these things.
Yeah.
But for me, and for the Tesla Q people who are skeptical to say the least, I think it's taken as a whole when you've got this guy who's clearly whatever adjectives you want to use to describe him, psychopathic, megalomaniacal, a known liar, just a creep, all that stuff. Sure, that aside.
Also a prick. I mean, we've seen plenty of interviews where he's just
vindictive, petty, childish prick. You've got all of these accounting red flags. Just like I was listing off, the accounting red flags, the executives the executives bailing, all of these things, and his checkered past of overpromising and underdelivering. You've got all the pieces there for it to be another Enron at 10 times the scale. But it's just the question everybody's always been asking is, okay, well, what's going to be the final shoe to drop that really takes it down? And I think it's eventually going to be when their free cash flows, because they just tipped negative these last couple quarters, but if they stay negative and they really start going into the negative territory, Tesla's going to need cash to keep kicking the can down.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the only thing it can be. I think that's what's very odd is all these things we're talking about are things that would bring down
any other company.
Yeah.
It's remarkable.
So yeah, I unless it's something like that, I mean, you're talking about sexual harassment claims. There have been all kinds of like racist, toxic workplace things, plenty of scandalous things that just no one even seems to care about.
Yeah. It really makes me feel crazy. But then again, I am cuckoo. So what else is new? Am I off today?
No, you're good.
Am I good?
You're on, dude.
Yeah,
I'm
so on.
People are liking it. I got a couple texts from people being like, Ben looks good.
Ben looks good. Do I look good right now?
Mm-hmm.
Why'd you look at my hair?
What do you mean? I like the hair.
All right, let's thank
Are
you.
people liking the hair?
As far as I can tell. I don't know. I don't read the comments.
No,
I never read them.
People out in the real world.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude.
Are you
left
getting
and right.
like nice hair? Like as you're walking?
No, none of that. None of that kind of stuff. Let's change the subject.
Yeah. Let's not talk about the hair.
Let's talk about the markets a little bit. We got Nvidia just today. I wish I had a birthday hat or something. They're officially, as of today,
number one again, baby.
Number one most. No, not again, for the first time.
I thought they
They were
passed.
number two before. Microsoft was number one.
Oh.
And then now they're the number one most valuable company. There's also a lot of people who are out there similar to Tesla, but kind of worse because what are you hating on? But a lot of people are claiming that Nvidia is also a house of cards and that they've been doing a lot of accounting tricks and that it's
I'm
all
not
gonna collapse.
fully convinced that it's not. I mean, it depends on. I mean, it depends on a lot of things happening for this
Right.
future to continue. Where, I don't know. It's not. I'm not entirely sure that like a ton of air is just going to come out of the whole AI thing, and people are going to go. I don't have a need for all these so expensive, ridiculous computing chips.
Sure. Couple things. I agreed. I was intrigued at first, but then the fact that the likes of Microsoft, Apple, Google, Amazon, TikTok, you name it. So many of these companies are openly talking about buying, how much they're spending on these chips. So that's one thing. Like, it's not like they're faking the numbers, because it's reaffirmed, it's confirmed by these other companies that are buying them up. But I think it goes back to what Mark Zuckerberg said.
those companies are actually buying them.
Yeah.
But
The action, no. So it's like what Mark
but there's
Zuckerberg
not like
said.
a real. Sorry, go ahead.
He
What-
said I think it was their last earnings call. Hey, look, it's probably going to be a while before we see the fruits of all of this investment into AI. And I think that's what you're getting at, right? That it's like, hey, you guys are dumping all this money into it. When is it going to actually
Well, that's
affect
the
our
thing,
bottom line,
if at all.
if at all? Yeah.
If people are going to find these new integrations useful, and
Please, bro, use the AI. Please.
I mean, I'm really
I put
curious
so much
about.
money and work into it.
I'm really curious about the new iOS thing. I'm just so curious about how it's just going to get like turned on everyone's phone and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think it comes out till it's going to be a while, but I'm very curious if I'm just going to get calls from my dad being like, "What the fuck is going on with my
Yeah.
iPhone?"
I can't tell if it's just me being a little bit of a, what's the word for someone who's a Luddite? Thank you. I can't tell if I'm being a Luddite or if I'm right, but yeah, it doesn't feel like
Maybe
it's
you're
gonna,
led right.
Thank you very much. It goes back to whether or not these billionaires have an accurate vision for the future. I think that they're not invulnerable to following the crowd. They're not invulnerable to succumbing to flashy trends. And I think that there's something to be said for, hey, Apple's doing it, or hey, Microsoft's doing it. Shit, we got to catch up too. We don't quite know what it's going to look like or what it's going to be, how much it's ultimately going to cost, what it's going to add to our bottom lines. But we got to do it too, because it's the next big thing.
I mean, that's what this whole fucking thing has been.
Yeah, right.
Everyone just chasing each other, being afraid of like, oh my God, what if Duolingo doesn't have AI capabilities or whatever?
And it's reminiscent of the blockchain shit, where
Right.
or we're doing blockchain.
We have smart contracts too. We're
have smart
all doing
contracts.
smart contracts.
Yeah. So
So that's, I could totally see this all being a house of cards. I mean,
that doesn't mean that it's all going to collapse at once. I think it would be a slow kind of, okay, this one spent too much money. Now they're having to reconfigure and recalibrate. And I think Nvidia, in terms of just the stock, I think what's likely to happen is it's not going to outright crash, but I think you're slowly going to see money rotate out of Nvidia and into some of the other big name stocks that have just kind of been cruising along.
yeah.
Very healthy for the stock market to do. Let's see what other shit we got.
Should we talk about Wells Fargo real quick?
Yeah, because we gotta salute those Wells Fargo workers. Oh,
Well, we just want the Wells Fargo workers to know that we're in full support of
full support.
and we,
What did they do?
Wells Fargo let a bunch of people go because they got caught with mouse jigglers and software that
Whoa.
that's what they're called.
Mouse jigglers?
Yeah,
Yeah, that sounds naughty.
It's all software to make
People
it
were cranking off at work.
because now with the that wasn't the only thing that was jiggling. If this mouse is a jiggling, don't come
a wiggling.
but yeah, with the whole work from home thing and everything, all these companies are trying to track their employees, make sure they're not quiet vacationing.
So
Sorry to
these-
use scare
Square quotes.
Damn it!
That's two for you. So they were using software that makes it look like you're
look
working.
like they're working,
This-
but they were fucking off.
But when you actually watch, like I'm sure Wells Fargo was able to see, it's just like he's not doing anything. The mouse is just
He just
moving
keeps
around.
Typing QWERTY.
That's very funny.
And
And then
w-
of course they fired them, which is not fair.
which is not cool.
No, give them a raise. Haven't you ever seen Office Space? Shows
It's
that
also
they've got
just
upper management.
all this
written
stuff is
over.
bullshit because like they just need to make sure people are working at all times, and if they're getting their work done,
Yeah,
leave them the fuck alone.
yeah, truly.
I have talked to some friends who their offices have switched over to like the very surveillance style, and they're like, it feels worse than just being in the office because at least I could just look at an article without
Yeah.
being like, oh Christ, jiggle, jiggle, jiggle.
Yeah. Oh, where's my mouse jiggler? Oh. Let's see. What else do we got? We're wrapping up here. Southwest Airlines. Did you know that Southwest has the highest number of passengers per year? They are the leader in passengers flown. And I think next is American Airlines.
That is surprising to
That
me.
is very well,
Especially because honestly, until very recently, they've been siloed off. When you would search for Google flights, have you noticed that they include Southwest now?
Yes.
Which is great. Because I used to, if I was looking for a flight, I obviously just want the cheapest one.
Yeah.
So I would have to look at Google Flights and then open Southwest to see. Also, Southwest is always more expensive.
It
And they're
can
like,
be.
How about a stop in Minneapolis, St. Paul? And you're like, I
No.
don't want that.
Well, so they just got an activist investor who put in like $2 billion, and he's trying to turn the company around back toward growth and profitability, which means part of that may include people paying for seats. So they might. I think that's coming down the pike.
Which sucks. I
for
like
Southwest.
their
Yeah. I like the free for all.
the egalitarian.
Yeah,
Set an alarm. Get your section A.
but it's fucked up because
You know what also was the best part before all
What?
the pandemic stuff where they were more lenient with canceling flights and stuff. Southwest, I'm sure you know this. Basically, like 10 minutes before boarding, you could just
change your mind.
cancel.
Yeah,
And
and
they
it
would
was
give you
full refund.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which is fucking crazy.
Southwest rocks.
I would do that a lot if I was like planning on going somewhere, and I'd be like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it, but I'll get the flight, and then
Yeah.
I would just bail.
Well, a lot of the other airlines have figured out that you can nickel and dime people and they'll pay it. I've been that schmuck. I've been that loser consumer where they're, hey, it's $25 to get an aisle seat, and or sit in the back in the middle, you fucker. And I'm like, I'll pay the $25 just to be able to not be in the back in the middle.
Yeah, they've really got a chokehold on us.
They've discovered. I mean, God. Man, the writing was on the wall with everything. Just these little micro, pay a little extra shits that with the airlines because they started doing it 10 years ago. Hey, you want to pick your seat? They'll cost you.
Right.
It'll cost you a little extra.
We
You
have
little
no other options, right? It's
How
like,
else are you gonna get there?
You want to drive?
Yeah, you want to try?
All right, fine. How much is it?
It's $50. Or you could just not. You could
You could
roll the
chance it.
dice. You could chance it. You might end up in the very back, in the middle.
You're gonna be right by the bathroom. I hope you like the smell of shit.
Ugh, I sat in the back next to the bathroom one time, and it was pissing me off because people were in line.
Right.
It was just a constant line. There's constant dick and vagina
And you
right
can
in my
tell
face.
you're looking around and you're like, I'm with a bunch of people who didn't want to pay the $25.
Mm,
Look at us.
bunch of losers.
We're all chumps here.
Yeah.
We should have been up there. I'm row 20 material. You know what I mean?
Well, how long?
But
is
instead
this?
they got me
Oh,
row 44.
36, yeah.
Brutal.
Oh, man. It's like my whole thing with you ever see like a hot influencer girl and she posts a photo of her flying and it's firmly way behind the wing. She's broke. Anybody who's like, I'm a jet setter and I'm projecting an air of some kind of superiority.
Yeah, you got to check where they're sitting.
But then they're sitting in like row 60.
no,
You're the bigger fool.
she's not getting a lot of sponsorships. Let's say.
But then you could say, well, at least she's paying her own way. Good for her. Good for them. Good for those people. Good for him. Not very good at seat selection. It shows that you're not very proactive either. You're
Why?
sitting way back there because you could have.
What if you just don't want to pay? Oftentimes, I just don't pay,
That's true.
and I sit in the back all the time, and it fucking sucks.
Yeah, it does fucking.
It's
suck.
also
It reminds me of folding laundry, where it's like, oh, this is going to take an hour.
it's a very stubborn thing because oftentimes it is like $35, and you're like, I don't want to give you another fucking cent.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, I'll sit in the back and I'll be happy about it. Yeah, I won't be able to recline because I'm pushed up right against the toilet.
Well, what sucks is even if you get an exit row, sometimes they don't recline.
Yeah.
I think all of them don't because it's a hazard.
Yeah.
You got to be able to get the hell out of that airplane. Oh wow, we are. Well, looks like we're gonna have to push some of this stuff to the bonus episode. We got the Donald Trump one on Logan Paul. We got that new right-wing influencer. Drop the N-word.
Very
And
casually.
very casually.
Very casually.
Very calculated. And no, I guess we could just say that Edward Snowden came out and said, do not trust OpenAI.
Which is also like, oh, wow. What
Yeah, what a revelation.
yeah, thanks for that.
Thanks a lot, Eddie.
Edward, how'd you get that? Did you hack into the NSA?
Yeah. Fucking. Hey, how's Russia? Wait, isn't that where he is? Where is he? Sweden? Switzerland? Where the hell is he?
I know he was in Russia for a long time. I don't know where he is now.
Yeah, I don't know
where
where he is. I get him
where in the world
confused.
is Edward Snowden?
I get him confused with the
With-
WikiLeaks guy.
Assange, yeah.
Yeah, Julian Assange.
But they both, they're moving all over the place.
Yeah, they're moving.
You
all
can't
over
keep
the
track of
place.
these guys.
You can't keep track of these guys. Well, everybody, we hope you've enjoyed this episode. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Is Tesla a house of cards? Is it the next Enron? Or are we just fucking Luddite morons who are jealous haters?
Both can be true.
Both can be true at the same time.
Join us at benandemilshow.com. Also, if you want those T-shirts, they will be live at this point.
Yeah, they're about
benandemilshow.com.
$600 each. We got 2 of them.
Yeah, there's one each,
I don't know why I'm laughing at
and
that.
there's $600.
We got a hell of a bonus episode for you here. No one's giving me the wrap it up. Like, no, I'm gonna milk this thing, man. Let's go all the way. I'll tell you how I pulled my back. Someone got fingered. I have something in here that just says "holy shit," so we'll see what that is. All right, so long, everybody.
Bye.